Welcome back, guys, to yet another World of Warcraft The War Within Profession Leveling Guide. I know that's quite the mouthful when you actually hear it, but today we are going to go over leatherworking and what it takes to level the profession. But before we do get into it, make sure that you guys drop a like on the channel, subscribe to the channel as well. And when I say like on the channel, I actually meant the video. I just kind of rewinded that in my brain. Anyway, remember to do all that jazz because it's great for the channel and I really appreciate it. But let's get straight into the video. When you're looking at leatherworking, there are a couple different options for how you can actually level the profession, but in general there are some breakpoints. And just before we really get into it, the thing about leatherworking is unless you do some kind of gear crafting, you are going to be kind of brick walled or stuck at level 75 in terms of skill. You can kind of get around that a little bit if you are able to buy any of the BOE recipes for the profession on the auction house. But if you are looking at it from a standpoint of purely starting from 0 and you want to do everything yourself, you get brick walled at 75. So, but I'll show you guys what it takes to get there, and then we'll talk about some options that you have from that point on. So, the first two crafts that you have available to you are going to be Spelunkers leather bands and Trackers chitin cuffs. And these two are basically the leather or mail equivalents, and these armor pieces use the same amount of materials, but just whichever one is used more depends on whether it's mail or whether it's leather, as you can see. So whichever one is cheaper for you, depending on the rank that you want to end up using, that's completely up to you. But I'm just going to take leather armor for these purposes, just because that's what I'm choosing for this video. But we craft a couple of those, craft 3 of them. We get up to 10 in leatherworking here. Next, we are going to see that we get not only foot pads, but we also get jerkins. And these are going to be the cheaper options since they provide 3 extra skill ups. But if you do take a look down here, you'll see that we also get some profession equipment at this time. But these are a lot more expensive than the regular crafted gear pieces. You also have some layered armor kits, but these only guarantee one skill up point. So we are still going to want to go for some foot pads here. We're going to make 2 of these because we get to, 16 at this point. And at 16, you'll see here that we get Hide Seekers packs, and these require 10 storm charged leather and then 1 thunderous hide. You can see whether or not, 1 thunderous hide is cheaper than 15 of these materials, because if that's the case, then this is the better option, right? They give the same amount of +3. But just because we can't say for sure which one is cheaper, it all depends on when you're looking at it in terms of prices. But we're just going to go ahead and craft further on in this leather armor. I'm going to get up to 20 here. We get a couple more pieces. Again, same thing. We get another crafted leather piece. We're just going to continue there. Nothing else has changed. Now, at this point, we actually get access to a lot of the reagents. We don't really want to craft these, even though they are on the cheaper side. Some of them, potentially, depending on the time that you're watching this video, they only guarantee us 1 skill up. So, and also because at this point, you'll see that we actually can't make them at much more than quality 1. So with the addition of some profession gear and maybe, some talent point picking, then that can change, obviously, but we're going to continue looking at what we have here. And again, this is 45 materials, and this one here is 40 materials. So whether there's a difference between these two just depends on the prices for these 2 materials. But we're going to go ahead and make some of these sashes. Get ourselves up to 30. Now here, you'll see that we actually get some gem cutters aprons, and we also get some scrapsmith's gloves, more profession gear. In this case, we're looking at 20 storm charged leather and then thunderous hide again. There's a chance that this could be cheaper than crafting more mitts, and again, those are completely up to you. You can use these gloves and send it over to maybe a disenchanting ult and get yourself some potential points out of that. Or you can make these profession gear pieces and send that over to alts that might need it, or post it on the auction house. Again, we get a couple more pieces here, storm charged leather, and then we get another material, sunless carapace. Again, This fully depends on whichever one is going to be cheaper, but they all award us with +3. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to craft some of these. Now we reach 40 here, and you'll be able to see that we get, again, some more gear pieces. The same concept as I just talked about. Whichever one is cheaper for you. You'll see here around this point, this one is the one that guarantees us +3. So we're going to go ahead and continue making some shoulders. Now we're at 52. We'll get the rest of the recipes that the trainer has to offer us. And at this point, the profession equipment kind of falls off. Some of them are green, but in most cases, you're going to have to craft gear pieces here. So whichever one is cheapest is the one you want to go for. Check your auction house for the prices if you're watching this well, during the early access or on launch or even potentially later than that. Now we get to 61 here, and 61 makes a lot of these into yellow versions, which is a high chance of gaining skill. So at this point, we are basically mass crafting these to get as high as we possibly can. Now, I talked about this earlier in the video, but the thing about this point in the profession is that, as you saw, we actually don't end up getting any more recipes at this point, and this will eventually turn green like some of these others have. And once you hit 75, your next option is to purchase recipes off the auction house or purchase some of them off vendors. You'll see here in Dornegal you can actually get these armor kits, right, for 150 artisan security. This depends on how you want to spend that. And again, actually I forgot to mention, if you're looking for particular profession specialization build guides, I've made videos for that previously for almost all professions. So the leatherworking one will be linked down in the description below and maybe potentially in the pinned comments as well. But these two are an option for what you can continue further on. You'll see that I'm crafting these in the background to get all the way up to 75. They're still green. As for this leather armor, you'll see that this is something that you actually learn for your specialization in luxurious leathers. This will be the same thing for the mail armor here. So that's a way to get yourself all the way to 100. Again, that is something that requires sparks. So you're actually not going to be able to make these before season 1 rolls around. So if you're watching by the time that comes around and you still need to level leatherworking, that is where you would do it. Well, obviously through work orders, but you get the point. The other option is Arathi patterns, Nerubian patterns, or Bestial patterns. These are kind of, what do you call them? Kind of subsections, and you can see here where some of them are provided from. This is from a quest, Spreading the Light. This is a drop from Priory of the Sacred Flame, which is a dungeon. And then this is actually through one of the specialization trees, as you can see right here, Flawless Forte. And that's an option. And now you can see here we are at 75 in the profession, and nothing else, as I talked about, is going to take you any further. So your next option, as I talked about, is going for crafted gear. And you can also make some of the profession equipment, but this actually will not take you all the way to 100. So if you're doing a build with a primary focus of making this, then that's absolutely fine. You'll actually be able, if you use rank 3 materials and some of the finishing reagents that you have available, and you have yourself some great profession gear, you'll be able to make this at a guaranteed quality 4 and maybe concentration to making them at quality 5. So that's fine if you're still missing out on some points. But at this point, to get any further, you would either have to buy the armor kit recipes. And just to show you guys, we'll actually go ahead and see if we can quickly just see these right here. So when you buy them on the live servers, you will have to buy them for 150 artisan security from one of the vendors in Dornegal. But for the purposes of this video, I will show you guys what it takes. And I'm quickly just going to get myself some more materials here. This should be fine. So we're going to go ahead and craft these just to show you guys when they actually end up not being useful anymore. And you could say you can get a little further with this and it only costs you 150 artisan security. And then obviously the materials that are required to craft these. A lot of people are going to, use these because these are leg enchants, right? If you want agility or strength and some armor. And this is something that most, hardcore PvEers, endgame PvEers, or PvPers are probably going to want these armor kits. Now, I would say that the chance of them wanting the quality 3 is a lot higher, but some people will cheap out and buy the quality 2. You'll see here that they actually turn green once you reach a 90, and we can continue making these until a little further in, but this is your option if you don't want to get into gear crafting and your main focus in leatherworking would be going for reagents, or maybe if you want to do like a primary focused build for just profession equipment. I actually noticed here, the last time I checked this did not take you all the way to 100, but I can now see that this actually will take you all the way to 100. So if you just want to craft profession gear, you actually have that option, because we're sitting here at 95 now, still having the option to craft the green versions of armor kits. But again, if you do a armor related build in leatherworking, you will have absolutely no issues getting to 100 once season 1 starts and you get access to be able to use sparks, because that's required on all these epic crafted pieces. But the way to get around that is filling work orders for people with profession equipment if you actually want them to max the profession before season 1 comes out. That's a way that you can go about it. The other way that you go about it is, as I just showed you, these armor kits, right? This could get pretty expensive because of some of these materials that are required, and also since these do turn green, so the amount that you actually have to craft gets pretty high. But once, if you focus on consumables, maybe reagents for a build, then you'll get a lot closer to be able to, guarantee rank 3s. But this is completely up to you. You'll see here we're at 98. We're about to hit 100. But that's my thoughts on leatherworking. It's actually not too complicated. It's a little unfortunate that you can't really get to 100 if you just want to focus on reagents. You are focused to do some of the armor kits, but I'm glad to see that profession equipment actually can take you to 100 as well. I must have missed that the last time I looked at it. But either way, that is the whole guide for leatherworking. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions to this profession, make sure you drop that down in the comments below. I'd love to talk about it. And again, if you're interested in profession specialization builds for leatherworking, I have made a video about that. Make sure you check the description for that too, or the pinned comments if I remember to put it down there. I should remember, but just in case I don't, it'll be in the description. But either way, if you guys made it all the way to this point in the video, make sure that you type gum down in the description. Yep, gum. Because I have gum right here. That totally makes sense, right? Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.